Hey, what's up? My name is Tackless, and today we're going to be looking at the Conker expansion pack. What is it? Conker's Big Reunion? Something like that. It's a really big pack, pretty expensive, about $10 or 1,000 tokens. But it's got a lot in it. So first off, let's look at the new biome that we have, the new environment. These are all nice, pretty looking trees. They're different from the ones that we have, and that's good because I was getting a little bit bored with our current tree variation. One of my favorite things about these trees, let's see if I can get up to one, is it seems like they were almost specifically designed for platforming. Because you can jump to one, and then you can jump to another, you can jump to another, and it's almost like it was designed that way. If it wasn't designed that way purposely, then that's just, it's still awesome. So it's no problem if you wanted to get these trees, hide objectives on the top, or use them to traverse levels or whatnot. So that's pretty cool. These rocks look pretty familiar. It looks like they've just got some moss added to it. These plants and flowers are extras. There are other objects that you can add on. So these are actually assemblies that I'm standing on. And they look good, but I actually do have a concern about the assemblies, which I'll get to later. So that's the biome. I think it looks nice. More variation, the better. This stone arch, I think, is really cool looking. So here are a list of the props, the interesting props that aren't in the environment. So we've got a floating piece of chocolate, which by itself this will heal you if you're damaged. We've got a bottle of beverage, which looks suspiciously like beer, but you know, whatever. I feel like I need to go redo my Perca-Cola machine so that you drink out of a bottle instead of a couple of odd-looking shapes. We have a baseball bat, which can be equipped. Looks pretty cool. We have an SMG. This is probably one of the best props in the whole pack. One of the ones that I think everyone will want the most. Interestingly enough, if we look really closely at it, we see it has a red tip at the end, which almost looks like a Nerf gun. Just a little bit. But it's pretty cool. Now, the default SMG fires pretty slow. Oh, crap. I'm shooting my models. But it also discharges shells, which I think that's wonderful. Now, the shell and bullet models, they don't allow us to use yet until you get Conker to level 18 and I'm blanking out on what it's called right now. The other game mode that Project Spark has, and I have not unlocked that yet. I probably will, because other models, including the chainsaw and the money special effect, are also locked away, which that's kind of frustrating. I get what... Oh, stop listening. Oh, Xbox. I get why they do it, because they want you to play their other game modes, but it's also kind of frustrating because I don't like those game modes, and I'd rather just get in, use the props that I paid $10 for, and not have to do a series of boring challenges to unlock them. But, well, that's just a design choice. They've got a button here that says B on it. I haven't found a way to change the letter on that yet, which is okay. We got a football helmet. This football helmet can also be equipped to Conker through the clothing options. We have a pan, which is another melee weapon, so you can be Sam Gamgee and go punch some orcs up. Here's a gas mask, and I have a thing for gas masks. Gas masks look awesome, and this is a good looking gas mask. And I love that they have made these objects items so that you can attach them to non-Conker characters. I only pulled one out. We have a series of eyeballs. There's this one. There's a feminine eyeball. I have no clue why there's eyeballs, but we have them. We have an afro, which can also be a clothing option for Conker. We have a mustache and a reptile mask, which can both also be clothing options. We have a bottle of medicine, which I assume heals you. Bag of nuts, which is cool. They give us the crown object straight out, but they make us go through their other game mode if we want to unlock it as a clothing option. But what you can do is just attach it to Conker's head and you're done. They've got this stuffing, which I can only assume is a comical gore for when you kill the teddies. They have these stick grenades, which if I had a throw command on my character, you could throw that and it would act as a grenade. Helmet, head of a teddy, you get the picture here. These are all pretty good objects. I definitely see myself using a handful of these in the future. So let's get to the character models. I kind of pushed some of them around. This is just generic Conker, like I am right now. And then we have a few variations of Conker. Let's try to push him around a little bit. This is Conker with a football helmet. That's Conker with a gas mask, with a reptile mask. And then this is Conker with no clothes on, but with an afro and mustache. So that all looks nice. Decent amount of customization there. We have a scarecrow. Now, it's worth pointing out, I did not actually play the Conker game back in the day on the Nintendo 64. Back in those days, my parents would not have allowed me to play an M-rated game. So I have not actually played the Conker game, but it looks like a fun game. So I don't understand exactly who these characters are. But we also have the teddies. This is the one that's fully suited up, completely geared out. He looks pretty hardcore. This is just a generic teddy with all the clothing removed. And this is one that's missing an ear. They give you a couple of different ear options. So you can have smaller ears or no ears or missing ear and stuff like that. We have a living key and a living sack of money. And it's worth mentioning that I glued this key to some other things and the model started spazzing out. So I don't know if that was just me or what, but looks interesting. This is just a normal person character model, but as I would like to demonstrate, you can shrink down the gas mask and put it on them, and I think that looks awesome. So, we have a couple of effects that I like. The bubble effect I think looks nice. This effect is wonderful. I can definitely see that being used in Conker games. And it's nice on the creator side of things because unlike other smoke effects, it doesn't leave a trail behind. So if it moves along with your character, it'll move very fast with them. Here are the different paints that we got. We got the path, which we've been standing on obviously. We have a rock or a cliff face. It looks like it has a little bit of a leafy pattern on it. We have this taller grass. I think this is a beach. And then we have the normal grass. So those are our 4 different paints. There are a handful of other things you can unlock in the other game mode, but I'm not going to be showing you those today, partially because I haven't unlocked them, partially because well, this is what you'll be getting right out of the bag before you go and level up Conker. So, it's also worth mentioning that we have this huge house here. You can't enter it. It's pretty much just for looks. It's not segmented at all. It's just one big house. We don't really see that as being too useful, but that sign does come off. So if you want to use this in another setting, you're not stuck with having to have the sign that says the cock and the plucker. You don't have to have that on it. So that's nice. It is usable elsewhere, and it follows the theme of the other rustic houses. So you could put this in a village with other rustic houses, and it would fit in just fine. So that's pretty much all the props. There's all kinds of things you can do with them there. I'm going to go to creator mode and show you some other cool things you can do and some concerns I have. Let's go to my first biggest concern. These assemblies, as awesome as they are extremely extravagant object-wise. That one, if you can see, all those chains are linking different objects together. There's another arch. This stack, that makes my game lag. There's so many objects, and it's too much. It looks good, it really does, but it's too much for using, because I created this through the creation wizard, which is the equivalent to using the nature biome here. So if I was to just scale this up and start painting with the nature biome, it'd start making these trees. And if I was to scale it up more, there's a pretty good chance it'll make one of these assemblies. Anyways, I don't know if it will right now because I want it to, but it makes the assemblies like this. You don't have to manually add them in. And that's kind of frustrating because I hit the object cap in this world so fast because of these things. And I have not twice as many. I have quite a larger object cap because I bought, what is it, the Massive World Builder Pack. Gives me more terrain, gives me more objects. It almost feels like Project Spark is kind of pushing you towards that. But what's unfortunate is that this one object could be almost 20% of the world. If we go to multi-edit, it shows my object count. And it is already very full. Now, if you closely watch that bar, or if you can remember that bar, when I delete this, it notably shrunk. That one assembly was accountable for a large number of objects in the world, and that's concerning. Mostly because I feel like I can't use the biome. Now, I don't usually use biomes because they put too many objects in the world that I don't need. But it's just, they're going over the top with it at this point. The biome is counterproductive because once you paint a small area, and this is not a big area. This is the size of the island, which is the default size. And once that was painted, I was done with objects. I was full. So you can't really add on to that. So I'd recommend against using the biome. That's not to say that you couldn't use the biome and then go manually through and clean up some of these over-the-top assemblies, as cool as they look. Which you could do that, and that'd probably save you a lot of time. But you also get lots of little flowers, little pieces of grass, and that all, it looks nice, sure. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't have those, but I am saying that put those where they need to be, rather than just being everywhere. Because what's the likeliness, if your action is going on the far side of the map, what's the likeliness that this bush is ever going to be noticed or cared about? If it's not going to be noticed or cared about, then you don't necessarily need to have it, or need to have as many. So using the biome tool is a little bit counterproductive. I kind of went rambling there for a little bit, but that's actually my main concern. My other concern, mentioned earlier, you have to unlock a lot of the better props. Yeah, so I want to show you guys one small tip. Now, probably a lot of you know this. It's really simple, but the cartoon SMG, as I showed, fired slow and was kind of boring. But what we can do is we can open up its properties, go to combat, go to shoot, and we can change its properties. So let's do shoot speed. Let's put that to 50 because we want it to shoot as fast as a real gun. Shoot frequency, let's put that to 8. So we're going to double how fast it fires. And that is 8 shots per second, which is actually really fast. So, yeah, let's hop in, let's grab that gun, and I'll show you what it can do. And the cartridge, the cartridges that it shells out when it fires, that'll keep up with our rate of fire. So now that we have it, now that's more like an actual gun. I don't want to point it at my characters, I don't want to kill them. But the bullets fire pretty much as fast as you expect them to. The shells dish out at a comical pace, which is fun. Yeah, so that's how you can improve the SMG. So if I was to attack these teddies, wouldn't take much to get rid of them all. So, you know, you may not want to do this just for the sake of balance, but it does look cool. So, thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions about this pack, please let me know. I'm still exploring it. I've only had it for a couple of hours now. So, yeah, it's a very cool pack. It's kind of expensive, but you get a lot out of it. So, yeah, this is one of those big packs, kind of like the sci-fi pack when it first came out. So, thank you guys for watching. I will see you guys later.